Big games on ESPN tonight starting at 7:30. You have the Celtics going into Philadelphia to take on the Sixers. And in the nightcap, my man, the Joker, Jokic, and the Denver Nuggets go to Portland to take on Dame Lillard and the Blazers. That's at 10 p.m. on ESPN. And don't forget, UFC Fight Night continues. That's this Saturday in the morning, 8 a.m. Tune in on ESPN+. And every morning, get up with the Get Up crew. They'll be talking about Kyle Allen or Cam Newton. They're going to talk about what Bill Simmons has done to get himself ready for the season and much, much more on Get Up. Ben Simmons has gotten ready to do this season. Well, Jalen, let's talk about the game last night some more between the Lakers and the Clippers. One of the drastic differences between these two teams was bench production. The Clippers bench is so deep and so good, and that's led by, of course, Sweet Lou and Montrezl Harrell. The two, I almost forgot what a good duo they were. Lou and Montrez, it just didn't seem like good friends playing together. You know how you always look for your friend at a pickup game or something? The two of them were just working it. The Clippers bench put up, wait for it, 60 points, which was much more than the Lakers. What do you think about bench production for the Clippers?
So just think about what happened this offseason. You have head coach Doc Rivers. On the sideline, you have Ty Lue now on his staff. Won a championship coaching LeBron James, of all people, in Cleveland. So he knows his strengths and weaknesses just as well as anyone, okay? You have a bench, a core in particular led by Lou and Harrell, that get a chance to play the same role, especially until Paul George comes back.
Yep.
So now, when you start the game, you can allow Kawhi to find his rhythm like he did in the second half, but only have to play 31 minutes. That now unlocks the door for JaMychal Green to get some minutes and make some shots. Mo Harkless, who they got from Portland, to make some plays, while Lou Williams and Montrezl Harrell, in particular, run their pick and roll, and Montrezl Harrell does all of the dirty work in the paint. So now when you put Paul George back into the mix, this is why a lot of people feel the Clippers have what it takes to win the championship.
So I always assumed that Harrell would start over Zubac. Like, I just assumed that was going to happen because, you know, I think that Zubac is a young talent. He's going to have a long career, and he can certainly develop some more. But do you think they intentionally put Harrell and Lou with the second unit so they play against second units and can do what they did last night? Absolutely.
Also, here's the thing. When you have a great coach, your job is to maximize what you're going to get from each player. And Montrezl Harrell could be a starter, but sometimes his height could be an issue, and you don't want him to get early fouls based on his aggression. And so now you put him with Lou Williams, a guy that's dynamic in pick and roll and can score the ball and can hit him on those drop passes and get him some dunks. You can put them in against the second unit and get them confident and get them going, because the game has changed from focusing on who's starting. It's about who's finishing, and those guys are going to be out there when the game closes.
It's a really good point. Well, remember when Steve Kerr was talking about how Klay Thompson, it's unlikely he's going to play this entire season, and we kind of overreacted, like, really? Well, he walked it back a little bit. Let's listen to Warriors head coach Steve Kerr.
My comment was very matter of fact. It's just ACLs, generally they take 9 to 12 months. So 9 months takes us right to the end of the season. So I wasn't announcing anything. He's doing great with his rehab. Still possible that he can play, but Klay's bored more than anything. He's bored. He wants to play. He loves basketball so much. And we all understand the circumstances.
Okay, here's a question for you about this. It's no secret that the Warriors are not one of the 5 best teams in the Western Conference. Let's imagine that Klay Thompson is available. Based on what happened to them late in the season last year, wouldn't you keep Klay out even if rehab went well, even if maybe he could work himself back for the playoffs? Would you keep him out anyway?
Well, the great thing about athletes and medicine, you can't necessarily put a timetable on injuries the way we could in the past, because we've seen some people come back sooner than their projection. What he did there was add the 9 in front of the 12 months, so that now you don't take away the motivation, the enthusiasm of not only the teammates that are going to be out there playing and competing every night, hoping that he can join their squad, but also for the player who's dealing with the injury, you want him to feel like there is a chance that he could possibly come back if everything goes well.
That's a good point. Like, if you feel like there's a chance you come back, you might rehab a little harder. You might dedicate yourself a little bit more to it if you've got a 9-month timetable than like a 14, 15-month timetable. Good point. Well, we're going to talk about the health of a different player, a gentleman by the name of Joel Embiid. He sat down with our colleague and friend Rachel Nichols, and here's what he said about his offseason and his health.
You lost about 20 pounds this offseason. How hard was that?
It was different because the whole summer I couldn't really play basketball. It was more about rehabbing and making sure my knee was fine. So you gotta have your days where you eat what you like, and your days where you actually do the right thing.
Wait. Did he say he couldn't play basketball all summer because he was rehabbing? Did he say he couldn't play basketball all summer? This is not a great indicator of his health going into the season. Do you think that we'll always be dealing with this with Joel Embiid, the minute limits and the skipping back-to-backs and the load management? Is this like a career-long thing for him?
I think so. That's a big man. 7 foot tall, Jacoby, carrying around 270 pounds. And look, what I heard in that interview was maturity. I talked about this earlier in his career, that I felt like that's what sometimes separated a guy like Greek Freak at a really young age, other than health, from a guy like Joel Embiid. You will see footage of him getting a pregame massage on the table and eating a hot dog. And at some point, as a player, you start to tell yourself, I need to make all of the necessary sacrifices, not some of them. And so, as you start to realize that your body can't carry a lot of the weight based on your knees, and this is something that Zion Williamson is going to have to figure out also. The first thing you do is you drop weight, and that's what he's doing. And so he's trying to give himself every opportunity physically to be healthy. So that's why you don't play basketball during the summer, because he could get injured.
You know what? It's a really bad look for an NBA player to eat a hot dog while getting a massage on a massage table. But that sounds so good to me. I didn't listen to anything you said after that. I was like, man, I'm going to put some sauerkraut on there and some mustard, maybe some onions. Woo! I know what I'm doing after the show today. Moving on, it is now time for What's Your Number? Jalen Serge Ibaka, the son of the Congo, has a great show where he brings on some of his friends and NBA players, and they explore delicacies. The latest with Kevin Durant, they tried snake. Let's check it out.
Today, I decided to cook a snake for you.
I mean, I can't eat no snake, bro. That's what you eat?
Very good, bro.
That's good for real?
Very good. Try it. You're gonna be surprised.
Where'd you get this recipe?
No, I buy the snake and I put the recipe.
You just made this up?
Yeah.
It wasn't like...
Yeah, that's perfect.
It's real dry.
Huh? It's fried. Yeah, I fried it. It's a fry.
I'm saying dry, but it's solid.
Okay. Couple things. Number one, if you're gonna feed me snake, I need some sauce on there. There's gotta be some sauce involved. You can't just cook the snake and then give it to me. But number two, the most important question, what is your number to eat snake?
I actually watched that interview. I thought he did a really good job of exploring some things with KD. And the reason why he made him snake is based on the fact that when he left OKC and when he left the Golden State Warriors, that's what the fans and a lot of critics was calling him.
That's right, good
so
connection.
It wasn't in a vacuum. And so for me, I gotta always monitor how much I say a number, because you guys are trying to make me eat it. But since you know how much I care about cooking, so much so I'm gonna take some chefing classes. So for this one, 2,500.
Really? Yeah, I can't afford that. That snake looked better than I thought it would, though. Could use some sauce, like some buffalo sauce on there. I'll get down with that, Serge. My number is probably like $1,000. Probably, maybe even less, maybe 500.
Whoa,
I'll eat some
that's
snake.
the highest number ever for you.
When we come back, we'll be joined once again by Anita Marks to break down the weekend in the NFL.